So, Avatar is back in IMAX 3D to gear up for The Way of Water coming this December. And if you're not sure if this trip back to Pandora is worth it, well, stay tuned. So let's get into it. Hello friends, and welcome back to the Brockopp side, a place to live, talk, and buy movies. And real quick, go ahead and comment down below what your first time checking out Avatar was, whether it be back in 2009 when it first came out, or at the IMAX 3D we released this past weekend, or maybe just caught it on TV one night. Let's just see where we met the Blue Na'vi people originally. I'll be completely honest when I say I was one of those people who had taken this movie for granted since its release. Back in 2009, this is what everybody was talking about. I remember going to the theater with my family to see the movie, and we all had to sit in the upper leftmost part of the theater because it was so packed. But it seems like we all just kind of moved on from this movie pretty quickly, and I think it's definitely worth a revisit. I mean, it didn't make nearly $3 billion for nothing, right? This movie is absolutely gorgeous. Whether you're talking about the bioluminescent plants at night or the amazing floating mountains of Pandora, the CGI is still absolutely breathtaking and holds up so well 13 years later. It's actually kind of crazy. Even without a giant theater screen like Sam Worthington's Jake Sully, you get more and more immersed into this fictional planet and its culture to the point that you don't want to leave once the credits roll. However, the story is nothing groundbreaking, and I can still barely name most of the characters in the movie. Jake Sully. Now you might be wondering, what is so darn special about this IMAX 3D re-release? Well, I'm glad I asked for you. Number one, you get a free poster when you go, which is pretty cool. It's very big and glossy, and I like free posters, what can I say? Number two, this is a brand new 4K transfer of the movie, lending itself to even more detail than we got back in 2009. However, most IMAX screens are only in a 2K resolution, so what's the point, you may ask? Which is a fair question, but here's an example. Do you remember the really cool Shout Factory Friday the 13th box set from about 2 years ago? Well, those are just Blu-rays, but they had brand new 4K transfers of those films, and they looked absolutely incredible. Same basic idea, just in a giant IMAX domain. And number three, you do get an exclusive sneak peek at Avatar: The Way of Water, but we'll get back to that later. This is the first 3D movie I've seen in a very long time. It makes sense why that format kinda died out a while back, because it just didn't seem like that many movies were actually taking advantage of the 3D format. In fact, most of them were just lazy post-conversions just to sell a couple more tickets. But Avatar, on the other hand, was literally designed to be seen in 3D, and it shows. Not only do you get to see it on a giant IMAX screen, which I have blushed about in previous videos, but the 3D adds a whole new level of immersion. I especially wanted to check it out after a lot of you guys commented on my Jaws IMAX video how the 3D was even better. Couldn't see the shark in 3D, so I'm gonna go see the Blue Man Group in 3D instead. Even before you get deep into the jungles of Pandora and stuff, it already feels like you're there from the very beginning. When Jake Sully wheels onto base and this giant truck passes by, I legit felt like I was standing right there next to him. Of course, it only gets better as the movie begins exploring other parts of Pandora and all the incredible sequences like the Banshee flight. The only thing that rivals this IMAX 3D experience right now are the Avatar rides at Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World, which I did get to check out back in January, and those were absolutely incredible. Now, I've said it before that it's totally fine if you want to only check out this movie like in your living room on your 40-inch TV, because you can still enjoy the movie perfectly well, but seeing it the way it was meant to be seen is just something else. Director James Cameron began developing this movie back in 1994, and it only started getting off the ground in the mid-2000s because the technology had finally caught up to his vision for the movie, which is on full display in IMAX 3D to the point that when the credits roll, it feels like snap back to reality. The only downside to checking out the movie in IMAX 3D is the fact that, well, I do wear glasses 100% of the time, and the IMAX 3D glasses they gave me didn't quite rest flush on top of my real glasses, so they kinda had to like sit kinda down at the bottom of my nose, so I kinda had to look up at a weird angle, but my seat was pretty well centered, so it wasn't a huge problem. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you do get a brand new sneak peek at The Way of Water at the end of the movie. It's a short clip featuring a brand new character interacting with this whale-type creature. Now, I've told you how well the CGI in this first movie holds up after seeing it on the big screen again, but going from that to this itty-bitty sneak peek of the sequel coming out this year, it's like, holy shit! It's no wonder it's taken 13 years for this second movie to get made, because this small scene right here has got arguably the most photorealistic CGI I've ever seen. The whole thing is completely CG, right down to the water itself. And for it to look that good and instantly surpass the amazing VFX of the first movie, come December, we are all in for one hell of a treat. So overall, regardless of whether or not you saw the movie in theaters back in 2009, or you saw it on like TV back like, a year or two ago, seeing this IMAX 3D re-release is absolutely worth the price of admission. It is incredibly immersive, it'll hopefully give you a newfound appreciation for the technology and the craft of this movie, and honestly, it just makes you want to go back to Pandora. Which is good, because we have a sequel coming out in 3 months, and then we're supposed to get at least 3 more after that, so there is plenty of Avatar to go around, so give it a shot. But if you want to see how another great blockbuster movie looks in IMAX, check out my review of Jaws in IMAX right over here. Or if you want to see what YouTube recommends you watch me next, you can check out that video right down there. And of course, subscribe if you live talking by movies. And we'll see you on the Brockopp side.